Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Howie, and I'm here to help you win with money. In today's episode of Back to School, I want to address a much simpler question. How do people build wealth? And I want to answer that as simply as I can without getting into all the math and theories and stuff like that. We all love watching TV or the news of how people become rich. We love elite athletes. Some of us enjoy watching our favorite movie stars or TV show stars, or Shark Tank, the investors, real estate flippers. Those were popular on HGTV a couple years ago, where everybody was flipping homes and real estate investors can make a lot of money. Or the classic, run your own business because that's the easiest way to go. Sure, there's a few of those stories that really people do borrow money and then end up running $1 billion business. But what are the chances of that happening to you? In fact, it could happen, but the odds are very, very low. Most businesses fail in the first couple of years, and those that don't fail, most of them don't make enough money. A lot of small businesses are exactly that, small. Very few of them make $200,000 or more in revenue. And even if you paid yourself, that's still not enough to grow your business to something bigger. So, what are the secrets of building wealth? And here I believe are really simple secrets. The first one is budgeting and spending plan. The second is learning how to pay less taxes in everything you do. The third is investments and other assets that you can purchase. Fourth is protecting your income and your assets. And the last one is at the end of the process, you want to learn how to pass it on, but having some guardrails to protect your money. And I believe if you do something as simple as this, your odds are much, much higher. There's a 90% chance that you can build wealth doing something this simple. Now, what's sad is if you read any statistics, most people never make it to millionaire status. In fact, less than 10% of people make it into that milestone. What I'm saying is if 90% of people can build wealth and the realities are less than 10% of people make it, then where's the disconnect? And we're going to talk about that real quick in today's episode. So let's break this down. Why do I think the first secret is budgeting? Because what is a budget? It's knowing how much cash you have at the end of the month. Did you know most businesses, they track all the revenue and they track every expense, and you keep track of it, and you know everything about your business at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month. Yet in our personal household, most families don't do that. In fact, most people know how much is coming in, but they have no idea how much is going out. But isn't that the purpose of what a budget or a spending plan is? If you don't know how to track it, how do you know what's happening in your own business? The business of running your household. And this is where these things have come into play. Living below your means or FIRE. Both of these things have been around a long time, but they're really simple concepts. How can you save 20, 30, 40, or 50% of your income if you have no idea where your money is going? So the secret of this is really very simple. It is the first step, but I don't want you to think that just because it's the first step, it is outdated or not important. In fact, I think it's the most important step and where most people fail. It's not about everything else. It's not about everything else that you see here. Now, you need to learn the other things, and I'll explain those further. If you're overpaying in your taxes, that's not a fair thing either. You're paying too much. Learn how you can legally pay less. You can use tax defer accounts. You can lower your taxable income right away in a 401k plan. And if you see my video on taxing the seed versus taxing the harvest, you're going to learn something about why you need to take advantage of both. I don't use a Roth to pay less taxes. I actually use the Roth for other things. But most likely, most Americans will actually end up paying less taxes if you just tax defer it because you can control how much money you're going to pull out in the future when you retire. Investments. Most people know I do a lot of videos on investing. And so people say, well, I'm not ready to invest, or I don't really need help in that area. They think that's the secret to my success, and it has not been. My secret to success has been the cash flow, the budgeting, the spending plan, whatever you want to call it. That's been the secret of my success. It sounds really boring and simplistic, and in life, really, the simple answers are generally the most profound ones. I use that cash to buy other assets. In all my previous videos, I have talked about how I started as a dividend investor. So what does that mean? I took some cash that I didn't spend for my paycheck. I bought a company stock that paid a dividend. I reinvested the dividend, and over 20 years, you keep on doing that. Now, that was a really slow process, so my investment was probably not the best investment. And over time, I learned how to maximize what I already have. That investment is still sitting in my account today, but I have learned how to add on other strategies on top of what I was already doing. And this is the reason why I can make money with the assets that I already have. And this is why investment is not the secret to my success. Because if I couldn't get any investment if I didn't have any free cash flow. If I had no money at the end of the month, I couldn't buy any investments. I couldn't grow my net worth in my 401k plan. I couldn't capture the free money that my company was giving me. So there are a lot of things that we're talking about, but this is a much simpler answer. Your investment is not the key. Now, investments are smart because you need to outgrow inflation. But everybody does this. You can do this through real estate. You could do this through other ways, buying assets that you understand that will have value. But the secret of my wealth didn't come from Bitcoin. It didn't come from stock trading or anything else. It was the most boringest stuff. It was putting it in a 401k plan. Most of it was in the S&P 500 or some type of large cap growth fund and sitting there for 20 years. The next area is protection of income and assets. A lot of people don't think about this. For most of us, unless you're super wealthy already or your parents handed you a lot of money, most of us, 90% of us, our biggest source of wealth is your ability to earn an income. Because if you can make $40,000 a year and save 20% of it, that's money in your pocket. If you can make $80,000 a year and save 40% of it, that's how you build wealth. It's your ability to earn an income. But if you died, your ability goes to zero. Life insurance is very important. Protecting yourself from legal lawsuits or auto lawsuits or other things. Insurance is good to protect your ability to make an income or to prevent somebody from suing you and stealing all the progress that you have already made. And the last area I'm not going to spend too much time on is passing it on while having some safety guardrails and stuff like that. There are many ways you can do that. You can gift money to kids or any stranger you want, $14,000 a year. It's tax-free. You can set up a trust fund. You can use insurance policies to build wealth in the next generation, every generation after. If you need to, make sure you talk to a qualified professional who can do estate planning for you. But that's how you do it. So why do I believe that if you do these things, your odds of building wealth are 90%? Because it's really that simple. You can't buy investments if you don't have a positive cash flow. So the secret of most people's success is really simple. It is really about the first step. When you get into this mindset where I will plan for my future, I'm not going to spend everything that I make. I'm going to use that surplus to invest in other things. I can invest in my education to improve my salary. I'm going to invest in assets that generate more assets. And if you have that mindset, your odds increase. I'm a big fan of believing that 90% of people who do this will make it. They will be able to build wealth. There are times where certain things are beyond your control. You can have a sudden death. You can have an unexpected medical emergency that can change your life forever, that cause you to be disabled. And again, so the odds are never 100%, but if you do these simple things, your odds drastically increase, way better than the current odds that most Americans are playing out for themselves. 90% of them don't hit the millionaire status. And I think that number should be higher. In the richest country in the world, I think the number of millionaires should be much, much, much higher than what they are today. And that's what I'm here for. As a financial coach, I'm here to help my clients win with money. I'm here to change their poor mindset. I'm here to help them with areas that maybe they don't understand and need a little bit of help in. As always, let's do this together. Let's do this $1 at a time. Have a profitable day. Bye-bye.